Good morning, hello. Hope you're having a great Monday morning. I am cold. Yesterday was a low of -2 degrees Fahrenheit and a high of 3. Today is a low of -2 and a high of 20. Both of which are still really, really cold. I guess for those of you who are used to Celsius as the sort of like the temperature gauge, and like in Celsius, water freezes at 0 degrees, right? Of course. In Fahrenheit, because of reasons, water freezes at 32 degrees. So when it's negative in Fahrenheit, it's really freaking cold. And it didn't help that yesterday we turned off the heater. I don't know, for some reason, I think we accidentally flipped off the heater for the house instead of the internal fan. And that ended up, no, not good. It was so cold this morning. All right. Now, what are we doing today? Today we're continuing on experimenting with RefCell inside of the data structure for the data. The idea right now is that we're going to be using RefCell instead of RC. So like our first experiment through was RC, and then RefCell inside of RC, and then components that were made of enums instead of all the generics or the any trait. And now we're going to the enum with RefCell for mutation. So this is where I'm experimenting. Is right now we're running into a little bit of trouble with RefCell here. I'm thinking we move RefCell here. So we're gonna have, wait, no. I think we had it right. We're gonna be a vec. Okay, a vec, and then inside of the vec, we're going to have ref cell of component. That's what. So that way we can go into each of these vectors and get these. Okay, so that, I mean, it kind of makes sense to me. But we'll see if I need to like have another structure around this to like wrap around RefCell. Well, we'll see what it is, but this is obviously going to cause some problems. So today we're going to now make this compile. Okay, so when we insert, we get the new data, no field data, because we need to add another one of these. Okay. Okay, so then I think we have, and this is insert. Okay, so we got the raw entry or default, which is going to create an empty vector. Then we have this borrow mute. So this is borrowing mute from, let's see. Okay, so we enter your default. So what is this gonna? So if we take a look, we have the raw data, which is a mutable reference to the vector. So I think I want overzealous with the vectors. We want a vector of RefCell components. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So instead of the RefCell vector, it's a vector of RefCell components. Okay, so we've got that. So then we need to, we're gonna push a new RefCell. So RefCell, new data. And so that gives us insert, which, I mean, that makes this a little bit easier. Okay, so query mute. So mutable queries, this is what it's all been about, is can we do this? So I think I might have to start over with this one. Basically, we have all of our results. I think it's going to be a little bit easier with this, but let's see. We want to get all the results mutably for what the component names that I want to give. Let's try just a simple for loop. So let's try doing the same thing where we have all the results here. Excuse me. Okay, so then we get the component name. Okay, so once we have the name of the component that we want to get, okay, so this is where stuff that data to get mute name. So now this gives us a vector of the ref cell. Okay, so we have that. So far, nothing's broken. Let me save. Yeah, okay, everything is working so far. You're just unknown, so you don't know what you're getting. Then I want to loop through these and get the mutables, or should I just return this? And it's a vec of ref cell component at this point in time. I kind of like that idea. The fact that this is working, and then so we can just agree, hey, ref cell, and I think what there's a way to do is for each ref cell is to get a mutable reference to that, essentially. So let's go back to the original way that we were hoping to try it originally. We can say that we want to do a component names dot into iterator so we can consume it. Then we want to map this. We're going to take a name. So a component name and as part of that, then we want to go out and grab that and get the result out, and that's what we're returning. So self.data.getMute component name. And that's it. That's what we're returning. So you're yelling at us because found, right, we're gonna need to collect this. And of course, collect is gonna say, hey, it can't make nothing. So we need to tell it what it's gonna be, like the real output of this. We're gonna have a vector of the component names, and inside of that, we're gonna have a vector of all of the components. That's gonna be of ref cell component. That's what we're gonna get. So a value of type vector, a vector of ref cell component cannot be built from an iterator over type option. Right, okay, so then that's the next thing is that we have an option here. Because get mute gives me an option. We see that right here. So I'm thinking this needs to be multi-lined. We can if let some, this is going to be the row essentially. So the components equals self.data.getMute component name. Okay, so then at this point we now have this. We're going to return components. Otherwise, we're going to return an empty vector like that. If and else have incompatible types, expected type, a mutable reference to the vector found this struct. Oh, I wonder if I need to like box it up, or probably not box. This is where the RC would come in. So now we're running into this problem where I have this mutable reference to the component. If I put the ref cell on the outside, that's not... What caused me to not want to do that? Like, so we get this. I know you're gonna be upset, but now we have the, okay, so we have this mutable reference to a ref cell. I think we can clone ref cells? So components dot, oh, we need like an RC with a ref cell in it. I think that was the idea. Okay, so hold on. Let's redo this around here. So we need an RC. So I think in that case, we can do a new vector. So we can do a vector that itself is going to hold all the components, right? But those components need to be stored in an RC ref cell. So an RC ref cell component. So maybe both of them together in this way. So then what would that mean here? So we need to create a new vector, which we do. Then we need to put in RC, new, like that. Okay, then back down to our query mute. So now we have this vector of RC of ref cell, but what does that mean? So I think this means that we now need to loop over this vector. And I think we might even be able to clone this. Can we clone the RC? No, so it doesn't like that. Oh, because it's an option, so we can't clone it here. We have to clone it inside of here. So if we clone it, we're gonna get, well, okay, a vector of RCs, but really we need to loop through this vector and extract out the RC. So I'm curious, like, what makes the most sense here? Should it be RC with the vector inside? Probably what we want is the RC here. And then the ref cell, then the vec. That gives me here. Okay, so is RC. So now you can still go to default because I think that's going to create just a new empty RC. That is probably going to be not the best. So we should probably no longer do this or default anymore. Is there one where I can give, okay, so or insert. It's not a function. I was hoping like I can do, oh, okay, or insert with. Yeah, maybe or insert with would be good. Oh, hello, Zilby. Zilby brought me tea. And a little bit of pair programming. Okay, so how do I get this in here? And I guess like, does it make the sense that this is gonna be like a vector of these? Because I could clone inside, right? Like if this is the vector on the outside, if this is the vector, and then we have the RC, if we do something like this, then we can do the default that gives us the empty vector, and then we could push in the new RC ref cell component. Then we go through this. Okay, so we have our vector of RC. We need to loop through. Okay, so I think making it a little bit simpler here, a little bit more complex here, I think that's gonna be okay. So let's do or default. Or default that. And then we're gonna be able to do, okay, so now we have this raw data as its vector. Data, that push. We know it needs to be an RC, new ref cell, new data. Okay, so that pushes in there and we're happy again. Okay, let's see. So we have components, which is this immutable reference to the vector of RC ref cell component. We now need to get and I was also thinking, what I might want to do is a query one and then query multiple, or query mute could then use that function. So maybe I can make something like a list a little bit simpler by just doing it one at a time. So if we do public function query one mute, and then it's going to be the component name. It's just the stir. Okay, so what are we going to return? We know we're going to return a vector. So that's going to be the thing that we're getting back. We see that here. We're essentially returning this entire thing. But because it's a RRC, I think what I can do is return a new vector and clone all the RCs and then throw that inside. And I think the data inside then stays the same. So I think the idea is now I can do a self.data.getMute component name. Okay, so this gives me the options. Then we're going to do an if let some components. We need the result. Well, what I could do is maybe I can map through this and just like give that back. I could also maybe clone it. Like, what happens if I do components.clone? And then I do an else, and then in this case, it's just a brand new vector. So it's happy with this. So I've got a brand new vector. I've cloned it, which should clone all the RCs inside, which doesn't actually clone the components, just clones the RC. So the ref cell and the component should still be the original one. Now in here, I wonder if I can use query one mute. I'm also curious, like, can I write a test that uses query one mute? Component mutably. All right, so let's do all of the normal stuff we're gonna do. Data new. We can create a new location. Okay, so we throw that in there. Then we need to get the one out. Also, I noticed that these other gets are not working. That's fun. They're not working because I don't have any other queries. Although insert data. Okay, so what are your problems? Expected one argument, found 0 to what? Okay, so we get the location, which is this option. So then we unwrap. Then we get this vector of RC. Okay, so then I want 0. Then I think I need to clone, which gives, okay, so then a clone and then deref. Okay, that gives us the ref cell and then dot. I don't think I need to get mute, but we could. That's what it is. Okay, so I do all of those things together and I'm able to get a mutable reference to the component. So that's how I'm gonna do it. So that makes you happy, then for you. Okay, so it's gonna be the same thing here. We have to come out until we have this vector of ref cell. We're really caring about the length just being 2. So that's all we care about here. We've inserted multiple data into there. We're fine. Okay, then test querying one component mutably. We insert this out. We want to get this back. So let locations after query is equal to data dot query one mute and the component name is location. Okay, so we're gonna get a vector of RC ref cell component. What I want to do is mutate this. I want to like take one of these and mutate them. So let's say I do locations after query. I would need to like probably iterate through it. So for query location in locations after query. Okay, that gives me this RC ref cell component. I should be able to deref this out. So queried location dot deref dot get mute dot get vector 2D maybe. So let vector equals, okay, so it's this option of this. So I want to unwrap you. Okay, and I want you to be mutable. Let's see. I got mute, but the get vector 2D, I think this may be a problem now. Get vector 2D, I don't think. Oh, okay. So this gives me the vector 2D, but it's not going to let me to set it. I just sort of have it out. I could potentially mutate it, but I think I may need like a setter on this. Or maybe get vector 2D can be mutable. So here's this get vector 2D, and we can see that it's returning an option of this. What if we had this be mutable? Like a mutable reference to the vector 2D. Okay. You're happy here. And okay, so now I have a mutable reference to this. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so we're able to get this out. We're able to get the mutable reference to it. So then I should be able to do vector dot x plus equals to like 1. And is that it? Like, do I need anything else? So then I want to like check the data to like actually make sure it's what we think that it is. So instead of like querying again, I can just reach in and grab it maybe. So let like location after mutation is equal to self.data. It's not self. Data.data dot. Okay, so get mute. We could just get in this case. It's gonna be location. Dot unwrap. Position 0. Dot deref. Dot get mute. Okay, so that gives us the component. And then I want to assert. So assert. And then we're going to have a matches. So location after mutation is going to be same as, and I probably need you to be a deref. Okay, so what is a pattern that I'm looking for? I'm looking for that you are a component vector2 with the vector if vector.x is now equal to 1.0 and vector.y is equal to 0.0. Okay, so that's what I care about seeing. We have some errors. Okay, this is query line 11. Which I may not even need this file anymore. So let's get rid of you. Okay, so insert data. Now you're unhappy. Temporary value dropped while borrowing. Consider using a let. You were just happy, but now no longer. Okay, so we have the data to get location unwrap 0. Isn't okay, so unwrap 0. We have a clone here, but I wonder if I need the clone before here. No. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so we're gonna do data.get location. Okay, so it gives us this option. We're gonna unwrap. Okay, that gives us a reference to the vector. So if I clone at this point in time, we have a vec, and it shouldn't matter too much, especially just in a test like this. Then I get position 0, which is this RC. Then we deref. Then I have a reference to a ref cell. Then I get mute. Okay, cannot borrow data in that reference. Okay, so you need to be a get mute. Oh, do you need a deref mute? That's not a thing, is it? Okay, so we cloned, we got 0. What if I do the other way around? 0, the clone. Yeah, okay, so deref gives me a reference, and then I mean, it gives me, okay, so I don't want this. Wait, was that my problem the entire time? So deref, oh right, because I won't be able to get mute here because it's this reference. So because here I have this RC ref cell component, we're fine. But as soon as I deref, that's not fine. I could get mute. Cannot borrow data in RC is mutable. Okay, so I can't. Okay, so position 0, then what else can I get? It sounds like deref is the right thing. And that's going to be telling me, okay, so temporary value dropped. Which was the value dropped? Wait, and wait a second. You can't have it one way or the other. Okay. Okay, so it didn't actually build that part? Seems weird. Or it got dropped at runtime and compile is fine. Dota 2 attitude, hello! You know, there's some function chaining. Yeah, I know. Okay, can I borrow location is mutable as it is not declared as mutable? Oh, wait. Is that what the problem is? Location here needs to be mutable. Get it working, then I'll tell you you're terrible. Oh, but you're kidding. That's fine. This learning is interesting. Okay, so this is components mod. Oh, interesting. Okay, so components mod line 32. So, okay, you want this to be mutable. Back to you. Run this again. Okay, so creates a temporary, which is freed while still in use. And this is on line 64, so that's the line that we were just working on. So okay, that's the problem. And this is mostly to get the data out just for testing purposes. I wonder if it would make the sense to, instead of doing this, now use our query function. So what if I did this? Like let locations equals data dot query one mute location, like that. It's gonna be either a vector or an empty vector. So then with the locations, I want to get the first one, which is, okay, this RC ref cell. I need to get the deref out of the RC, get mute out of the component. I feel like that might be my problem there. I should be dereffing. I need to do something else. So I have this RC. How do I get it out of the RC? There's this get mute. That's a ref cell method. Okay, we could clone this maybe. Then so there's as ref borrow mute. Well, that's still an RC. Okay, we have this. See, if I deref, I get a reference to RC, and I want those are all ref cell things. How do I get the data out? You'd be Googling. We could go take a look at RefCell. Or sorry, RC. RC and RefCell. Fun times. There's a couple other things that we can try that maybe like besides RCs. We could get mute unchecked. There's also as mute pointer. That's unsafe. Don't do it. Try unwrap. Does that mean there's like an unwrap? No, not that I see. There's so much nightly only stuff in here. It's so simple, isn't it? I know. It's like from raw, downgrade. Okay, so there is a get mute on here. Returns a mutable reference into the given RC if there are no other RC pointers to the same allocation. Otherwise none. Oh, okay. Because I cloned it. Chat's getting rest salty. It's mostly you. See also make mute. Makes a mutable reference into the given RC. Okay, so we have U, which is this vector. So then we go into that one that gives us this RC. Then now there was this get mute. Okay, cannot borrow. Deref mute is required to modify through a dereference, but is not implemented for ref cell component. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so we have this. I need to get out of it. So what is it? Like there was the try. Oh, I'm getting like, okay. So I'm getting the wrong methods added in here. I don't know if you noticed this. It's Rust Analyzer is not giving me the methods for RCs, even though that's what we have here. It knows that we have an RC here, but it's giving me the methods for ref cell, which is not the best. So if we look through here again, so we could pin, delete the array reference thing. Oh, like yeah, so that's a vector. So now I have just this vector of RCs. Why is that not a pointer? Oh, oh, because it's a new vector. It could be empty or not. It's a brand new vector. And maybe that's my problem, is like I shouldn't be doing that. So if I get into here and then we do try unwrap. Okay, interesting. So try unwrap not found for struct RC in the current scope. What does that query data insert equal? Query data. I mean, this? I am Hardliner. Hello. What is that query equals? Oh, data insert. Data insert doesn't return anything. And hello, Chantilly. Yeah, so data insert does not return anything, so that's not going to help me there. I mean, we can make it return something. We can put something in there. Let's see. Okay, so I think what data insert doesn't return anything. Oh, this one? Data query 1 mute? Yeah, I turned it on today. I remembered to. So try and wrap doesn't work. That gives us an RC with a ref cell component. So it gives us this RC. It could, like, we could clone as often as we want an RC. But I think, okay, do I have to clone in query 1 mute? Is that the problem? In query 1 mute, okay, so we have components. Okay, that gives us this vec of RC. Do I have to do something like map through this? It's like to components dot iter map. Something like that. I don't know if that changes anything. Gonna be frank, you're not sure if you fully grasp the object data that we're testing. Yeah, I know. And so what I'm really trying to do is like extract the data out so I can verify that the data got put in. And that's the fun part. So there's these RC and ref cells. So the data sitting inside is in a vector. So it's in a hash map. And the value of it is a vector, and then inside the vector is RC, ref cell, and component. If necessary, I can move the RC and the ref cell out here and then have the vector inside. So we're testing that, like, hey, the data made it. Like, I need to get the data out to have it be of any use to me. The problem could also be the query maybe is not giving me like what I need to out of it. But okay, let's see. We've got an RC now. If I try to deref this gives me, and then get mute, something like that. Cannot borrow data in a. So I want to get the actual full error. Yeah, we're doing entity type stuff. All right, so cannot borrow this as mutable. Do I need to clone you before? So here we have, like, can I clone you right there? What if, like, we just put clones everywhere? No, still unhappy? Yeah, so just putting clones everywhere, not the happiest thing. What if I do this in multiple steps? So entities are mutable, but don't they take in no data transfer objects? I'm making this from scratch, so it depends on that. I'm not sure what DTOs fully are. Okay, so if I do this, okay, so our problem is here. Cannot move out of this index. So I need to, same there, we're on the same page then. Awesome. Okay, here we have locations, and it's this RC ref cell. So let's say we do like, we do this again. Now we're doing a different line. Locations dot, like if I get mute, I'm gonna borrow data RC is mutable, deref mute. Okay, so I need to deref in to the ref cell and then get mute. Cannot borrow data in a reference as mutable. I don't think I can do something like that. I don't think I need like multiple derefs, do I? I don't think I need to like clone it again, which gives us another RC, and then deref out of it, and then clone this. Oh, look at that. It's not giving me anything different. It's still... All right, so as ref, how about like into... Don't want to do that. Doesn't know what to go into. So think if you had a customer address in an entity, you would update the address with a new pointer to a different address when they switch locations. The DTO is that address. As it's a house, apartment, commercial space, the entity is the customer object. So in this case, I'm only looking at components and not full entities so far. So I'm just working with like the data itself. So like I have a location of a bird, let's say. So it has an X and a Y axis. I want to store all the birds in this vector of the X and Y axes, and then that'll be that. Yeah, I don't fully understand DTOs yet. In like ECSs, it's a little bit different. Seems like it's forcing you into that. Yeah, I guess it might be. I wonder if I would need to like replace the entire thing, or if I should use, instead of RCs, something else. Like instead of an RC, what other types of containers do I have access to? It's like single-threaded reference counting pointers. It's like that's one. What else do we have here? Like there's boxes for heap allocations. That doesn't seem right. Okay, there's cell, which is shareable mutable containers. Both cell and ref cell allow doing this in a single-threaded way. However, neither cell nor ref cell are thread safe. They do not implement sync. A cell implements interior mutability by moving values in and out of the cell. To use references instead of values, must use the ref cell type. Acquiring a write lock before mutating. Cell provides methods to retrieve and change the current interior value. I wonder if I need cell. And the other thing is, this is all single-threaded. This is all single-threaded. So what would happen if, like, my data structure... what if we did cell of, like, the vec of component? So then when we insert, we're going to get the new data. And so we put in new cell, new vec. Oh, okay. So hold on. This gives us a cell vec of component with the default. So we can't. I don't think I just do push here, but let's say if I get, can I get this out? So like dot get mute, dot push, new data. Can I do that? Oh, okay. It likes that there. The treat bound copy. Well, we have an error up here, so that might not have worked. Okay, so the trait bound, so vector of component copy is not satisfied because the requirements on the impl of debug for cell component. So are you saying we need debug for component? Which we have. We also need like clone and copy. Shouldn't be too terribly hard to do that. No, it's not saying. Oh, okay. You're saying it because we need debug there. What if I don't do that? Then it's more happy. Okay, so that worked there. So then in query one mute, get you out. Okay, so then we have this cell, vec of component. So self.data.get mute component name, components. So this is the cell we want to. I wonder if I just want to return now, like change this around. Where are the Rust experts? There's some Rust experts around. I haven't seen Museum in a little while. Oh, we are the Rust experts. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. So should I return a cell of vec of now, like, can cells be cloned? Because I don't think we can clone the cell. So in this case, what we really want to do is return a reference. So I don't want to clone. I don't really want to clone. Let's reset this. Let's do this again. So I need to return a mutable reference to the cell. To the cell which has the vec of component. And I might as well make this an option. Sort of like change our API around a little bit. So when we query, either we find something or we don't. So in this case, it should be self.data.getMute component name. And this is what we return, and that's fine. GetMute returns an option with whatever is stored inside, which is going to be this mutable reference to the cell vec component. Okay, so that's fine there. Now down here, okay, so in insert data, I want to query one mute. That gives us this option, so let's unwrap you. That gives us a mutable reference to the cell. So then get mute, then 0, which gives us the component. So is that true? No errors so far. Then we're going to assert. We have to do the matches. Okay, so we have locations. Really, this should just be I guess this could be locations, and then I'll just there. Locations, position 0, and then the pattern is going to be component vector 2 if vector 2 dot x is equal to 10.0 and vector 2 dot y is equal to 10.0. Okay, that so far is not yelling at me too much. Okay, insert multiple data. So if we have this out now, we have this cell of that. So I want to then get mute, which gives us this vector, and that should be fine here. We just did Rust magic. I'm not convinced that the magic's gonna work all the way through yet. So I'm stopping myself from celebrating too early. Okay, so then test querying one component mutably. Peyton rules rating with a party of 36. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Bear Cool Cow says Muma. That is a name. Tommy Luco, whoop whoop. All right, let's go play. Let's play a game. All right, let's play a game. Let's do get the streamer, run, release. Okay, so we're gonna play our get the streamer game. Peyton Rules, how was your stream? How are you working on your I guess like the game loop in what are we using? You're using WebAssembly with Rust, right? WebAssembly. Okay. You had an argument with the borrow checker. Well, that sounds like Rust. I've been having arguments with the borrow checker all day, and yesterday too. That was fun. Oh, okay. All the snakes. Oh, how did I not get... Oh, I was gonna say, like, how did I not get hit? And then I get hit right then. Of course. Of course. Oh, no! Where do I go? Oh, you got me! With Bear Cool Cow says Muma with 31 points. Just needed a little bit of spam. All right. So today we've been continuing to work on our ECS library in Rust. And so we've been just going back and forth on how to store the data. So we've tried RCs with components inside of them. We've tried just the components on their own. We've tried RCs with ref cells inside of them. We've tried just ref cells on their own. And now we're trying cells with components. So it's been very interesting because like they querying immutably, no problem whatsoever. That's easy. That you know, we can do that all we want. But mutably querying is where it gets interesting. So we're working on that now. Bear doesn't want to stream. What do you think of that? I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna make anybody stream if they don't want to. Okay, so we're testing querying one data component mutably. So we insert, like we create the data, we create a location component, we insert that into the data, and then we query it. So we're querying, okay, for you, which gives us this option, mute. So we could unwrap it at this point, maybe. So that gives us a mutable reference to a cell that has a vacuum component inside of it. Okay, so then we want to query location. So loop through these locations after query. That we need to get mute. Okay, so now we have a mutable component in here. So I don't think we need to do any of this stuff anymore. We now just have you. So we don't need you. At this point in time, we get the vector 2, we unwrap it. And that's our vector, which is a mutable reference to the actual vector data itself. We then change the X, and that should be like the mutation. We've queried it, we've mutated it. Now we want to get it again. So we grab you. So if I unwrap you, that gives us the cell. So then I want to get mute, position 0. It gives us the component, which is the location after mutation. We do location after mutation. Cannot borrow data in a okay, so I can't. Right, okay, so we need to get mute. That gives us this cell. Then, oh, you know what? Maybe I could have just gotten get. Oh, no method named get for cell. Okay, fine. So there's only a get mute. Okay, so that gives us this, that. Give me the first one. Okay, so no errors there, but now we have errors back up here again. How is my arch working? Still rocking I3. No, I have, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think I have I3s. This is like not even Intel's. So that makes sense. You're trying to get fair. Okay, so then what are you upset? Cannot borrow that in a reference as mutable. So we need to get mute here. All right, back down to here again. Okay, so then you are strict comparison. Okay, that's a good sign. Oh, I3 is a window manager. Oh, okay. You're not saying that Bear is just running really old Intel chips, right? Allow, let's see, clippy float compare. There's no errors in this file. There's no errors in this file. This is a first. Okay, so query 1 mute is working here. And this means I was able to change this. If I set you, okay, let's run the test. Let's actually run it, not just compile. Okay, it works. Then if I change you to like 2, let's say I want you to be a 2. Left does not equal right. Perfect. Perfect. So it actually is working now. I was able to mutate, I was able to query and mutate. So let's say I want to get multiple things mutably. So that's this test here. We create new data. We're creating 2 components here, a location and a velocity. We insert both the location and the velocity. Now we need to query this out. So we're gonna have to do this. Okay, let's figure out how this is gonna work. We're gonna say data.query mute. We need I want to give it probably a vector or an array. So like, I wonder if I can just do, No, I can't do an array because I don't know what the size is going to be. So it would make a lot more sense to do this as a as just like a vector. And then I want, give me location, give me the velocities, give me all of those, and let results equals this, like whatever this is, give it to me. So obviously query mute doesn't exist yet. We are going to fix that. Here's query mute. Let's start this over again. So we know that we're going to return a vector of the vector. Well, is that true anymore? No, because we're storing them as cell vec. So this should really be a vector of cell, and you should really be mutable reference to a cell that itself has a vec that has a component. All right. Now it's just telling us that we're not actually doing the thing. We need to actually do it. Okay, so we're kind of doing this with the query one mute. If I had my way, I would map through this and then just call query one mute for each of those and return it. Why wouldn't that work? Okay, so component names, I can, into iterator, I can consume this. We're gonna map and we're gonna get a name out. And then for each name, we're going to call self.query1mute and pass in the name. And that's it. And then we're going to collect. Now, this does mean we're going to get an option here. So it's a vector of option of these. Query one mute. Okay, so cannot infer an appropriate lifetime due to conflicting requirements. So I think this is the same. This is the problem. This is the reason why we wanted to use the RC so we can clone it. Now, this is because self is essentially inside of an iterator running, and it's mutable, so we end up having multiple selves. Just not the best. Not the best. I wonder, like, if I do query one mute, we could just try getting that. Let's just change our requirements here right now, temporarily. Let's go see if we can get this working in flocking Rust. Okay, so in our dropbird systems, right now we only have query, so we're gonna query. Oh, that's fun. So query can remain there. For the world, we need to take the component name, and we need to do a self.data.query1mute that. Okay. And you are, okay, so we an option with a vec of expected, found an option of mutable cell vec component. So option mutable cell with vec component. Okay, so you're not upset here. So that's a good sign. Okay, so we can query for you, and that gives us an option. So we come in here and say, okay, components. Let's take a look at these. We have a mutable reference to a cell of that component. We need to get mute out of here first. Then we can, oh, that's upset. Cannot borrow world is mutable. Okay, so we need you as a mutable world. Which means in here. Okay, so pass that straight on through. Okay, back to you. Component. Cannot borrow component is mutable as is behind a reference. Okay, so mutable reference to a cell with the vector component. So we get mute, we iterate, we try for each, we get this component, which is just a reference to a component. Iter mute. There's no errors in here. There's no errors. Okay, so it's not much. Like, nothing's changed since the last time I ran this, but we're able to mutably query for these and get them out. Okay, so that's actually really cool. Which means now we can now create a pub. So we want to, this is Jawbirds. I want a system for update locations. That's next. So we're gonna get a mutable reference to the world, and that's pretty much it. So what we need out of here is the locations, and we need to get the velocities. So if we do something like let locations equals world.query location, so we get this like option. Okay, so this is I don't know. I guess I gotta convert it to a like some kind of error or something else. It's not the best to use an unwrap here. I would love to be able to like not do that, but let's not worry too much. Okay, so then I get mute. I have the mutable vector of components. Okay, so cool. That gives us that. Then let velocities equal to world.query. You're going to be a velocity unwrap to get mute. To get mute. Okay. So now I have locations and velocities. Then what I want to do is loop through all the locations and for each location and for each velocity. So the length should be the same. So I think what I can do is I can assert that like location.length, locations length is equal to velocities dot length. Like that, it should work. Like that should be the case. Now I want to get the components out of each of these. So we want to loop through. So for index in 0 dot dot locations dot length So we get this usize, but we can get inside. So now we can get like let a location is equal to locations of position index. That gives us this component. We know that the location is a vector 2D, so I want to get the vector 2D out of here, and I need to unwrap you. Again, it's a problem. And then I want to do the exact same thing to velocities. So let velocity is equal to locations, index, get vector 2D, unwrap. Okay, so now I have location and velocities. I want to just do a location plus equal to velocity. That's it. All of that just for this. Really? That was the entire point of doing this, is that I could have like a vector 2 type and I was really hoping you'd let me do that. That'd be so cool. Let's run update the location system. So that'd be in here. So we're gonna do a run. Oh, update location system. We're gonna pass in a mutable reference to self.world. And that's it. Now, if I run this, I want to see what that actual error is going to be. Okay, so cannot use plus equals and type mutable reference to a vector 2. That's well, so vector 2s normally do have that trait. I'm thinking that there's something else going on. Now, if I just do this myself, if we just say something like location.x plus equals velocity.x, location.y plus equals velocity.y. If we do that, okay, so what are you? Cannot borrow locations as mutable more than once at a time. Well, I don't want to get, I want velocities. Was that my problem? Hold on. Location plus equals velocity. No. Where's the and? It's like mute. Like I can't tell like where this one is, but we can see that this is, these are the same types, but they're not seeing them as like the N algebra stuff. I don't think I can like force it either. I don't think I can say like, hey, you are a mute vector 2 F32. Mismatch types. And if I come here to get vector 2, yeah, you're returning this. You are returning that, but like it works here, but unfortunately it doesn't work here. So I can't actually do this, which kind of sucks. Do I have to like pull in? Yeah, I don't know. So location.x plus equals to velocity dot x location dot y plus equals to velocity dot y. Okay, so if I do that, we have another error. Okay, so cannot borrow world as mutable more than once at a time. Okay. And that's a problem too. So it's like, oh, I was so close. I was so close. But I can't get this out here. Now the RC would help us do like reference counting. But I wonder if I like need to move into data structures that are like more even almost like thread safe, even though this is a like single threaded game or a simulation in this case. I'm not trying to do something like crazy like this. I don't need to like do it in threads, but I wonder if like I use an arc and a mutex, or would it be a lot happier with me? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. But this is something where I have to get in. I wonder, like, can I? I don't think I can do something like just have like a block. Yeah, because this is like not helping me out here. Locations need to be mutable. What if I move like velocities up first? And I clone it? Like I clone the velocities? Bear redeemed at the kitty this minute. Absolutely. We can totally do that. Are you unimpressed with my cold hands? He doesn't seem to care too much about pets today. Although it's great. I love the fact that Sylvie is not one of those cats where you like pet him and then he's like, okay, I'm getting overwhelmed. So time to attack. His overwhelm threshold seems to be pretty high, which I love. Oh, and we have the Get the Streamer game. He's looking good and healthy, grown quite a bit. Yeah, he has. I don't have it here, but I've started training him. So we found a set of treats that he really loves. He adores these treats. And what we're gonna do is try to go through and let's see, what is it? I got a clicker also. I'm gonna try to like click him to like follow my finger to get him into the crate when we need to go, take him to the vet. Maybe even like come here and like jump up there when I want him to. Maybe even like get into a harness to like take him out and walks. I think it'll be good. I think he'll love it. So that'll be good. Dota 2 attitude, is Utah where the TDD movement took foot? Anyone know? I have no idea where TDD was invented, like location wise. All right, we also have Get the Streamer game. We can play that again. Let's do that again. But yeah, so like I foresee some like fun things we can do with Zilby. Maybe we can do like even a reward. Like if we get enough followers or something, we can do some like training, stream training. Oh, a heart. I love it. Now all I have to do is survive. Oh, no. Yes. Okay. Haven't. Okay, that was close for a second there. Oh, you try to convince me with that heart that I could go get it. Okay, I got a hit. Too many things. No. Just use my iframes. Ah. All right. Well, clearly. Oh no, you're not done yet. I don't like being in a corner. It's really hard to break out once I'm in there. Oh. Oh, I saw the snakes coming and I was like, no, I need to run. I need to run. But good job, and okay. So we were trying to figure this out, like how to get out of here. I think I wonder if I need like a query immutable too, or if I need to do something like to have cloned, or I just need to completely rethink the data structure like 100% and go back to like studying how Hex or Specs does it, because it's not like this isn't working the way I was like hoping to get it to work. So I'm able to query these now, and we can see that we have velocities is just a read-only vector. Okay, that's fine. And I get that because I cloned it. Okay. Not ideal, but okay. Then we move in and we get, okay, so locations. We make sure that the lengths of the arrays are the same, or the vectors are the same. That's fine. Then we loop through these. Okay, so we get location and velocities out. Cannot borrow velocities as mutable. So the problem is I don't have an immutable like get vector 2. So that's a problem. So I would need in components here, we have this get vector 2 that's mutable. I would also need a pub function get vector 2. Let's actually just make this get vector 2 mute and get vector 2. Then you would be just a vector 2 F32 like that. Oh, you're getting a standing desk. Oh, nice. I love mine upstairs. I have mine upstairs now. I moved into the basement, so I don't have the standing desk at the streaming computer anymore. You don't need to pass the exam in the new team. So basically you can just till around now, and if you fail, no problem. Oh, that's great. It is great having like that feeling of safety and security when working on a team. Okay, so if I do that, now I want to be able to get this out. So can I do that? if let self vector 2, we get a vector 2 equal to self. We want to return sum. So we have a reference to that right now. We want to return a sum. Vector 2. That's pretty much what it is then, right? Else return a none. Okay, so wait, what happened here? Mismatch types, expected. Ah! Okay, move the camera there. Expected struct. Matrix 2 found a reference. Oh. Well, we own you. Some vector 2. So I want to take you as the reference here. Oh, right. Okay, I would just want that. That's fine. Irrefutable if let patterns, we can just copy you here. Okay. So maybe I can run you as a get vector 2 instead of get vector 2 mute. So here we need to change the name. Get vector 2 mute. You're happy there. Okay, then update locations. You're a get vector 2. Let's do this one first. And then mute. No errors. No errors. Okay. Okay. I was banned to the basement. No, I decided I have this basement here. I wanted to use it for the streaming, and then because I'm working at home all day, that means I don't have like 100. I don't know, like 90% of my days were in one room. I want to at least like do something that's not in the same exact position every single day. That'd be nice, maybe. Okay, so now if I run this. When am I going to get the birds moving? Yes! Yes! The birds are moving! So, is it a good architecture? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's a good architecture. Does it work? Yes. We're finally able to get birds moving on the screen. Okay, that is something. Let's go ahead and commit this and send it on up. So we have the flocking rest. This is now like moving birds. So you're pushed up. Then we also have our BB ECS. So it turns out the answer was a... What was the answer? It was a cell. It was a cell all along. All right, push. All right. Okay. That feels so good to have those moving now, because now I can start implementing the logic for the for all the birds, and maybe we can like store some other things in the world too. But it's like forward momentum is always good. Anyways, it is 8:45, which does mean that I have work coming up very shortly. So I need to get moving to be able to do that.